Hey there and welcome to my channel. I'm Elizabeth with Ellie's Handcrafted Jewelry, and today I'm going to be showing you how to craft this lovely wire wrapped pendant. And in this tutorial you'll learn how to create the frame, the bail, and how to create those fun swirly accents. So let's get started. First you'll need a cabochon. Mine happens to be a 30 by 15 millimeter teardrop shape. You'll also need 21 gauge half round wire, 3 segments of 20 gauge square wire, and for tools you'll need chain nose pliers, round nose pliers, and a pair of flesh cutters. And all the materials and tools are also listed in the description below. Now to get started, you'll want to have your 20 gauge square wire parallel to each other, find about the center of the piece, and then begin wrapping the 21 gauge wire around the square wire. Now when doing this, you want to make sure that the flat side is against the square wire while the more round side is on the outside. And we're just going to wrap around until we get to a distance that's about the size of the bottom of the stone. Now I'm going to check it against the bottom of the stone to see if it's the length I'd like, but I'd like it to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap a few more times around the square wire. Now once I get the wire wrapped around, I'm going to go ahead and trim it with my flesh cutters on both sides. And then I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers and I'm going to go ahead and tuck in those burrs, and I'm going to flatten the wire against the square wire. Now once I finish that, I'm going to go ahead and begin wrapping the wire around the perimeter of the stone, making sure that the wrapped portion is at the very bottom of my stone. Now once it's been wrapped around the stone, I'm going to go ahead and bend the top portion upward and measuring it against the top of the stone and then bending it upward and bringing it together, and it should sit just like so, and the stone should sit somewhat snugly inside the frame. From there I'm going to go ahead and insert the rest of my 21 gauge segment of wire, and I'm going to wrap it around the outside of the frame and then tuck it in with my chain nose pliers. And then I'm going to begin wrapping around the top to secure the wires together and begin forming my bail. But first I want to make sure that all the wires are secured together before working on my bail piece. Now once I've wrapped it around a couple times, I'm going to go ahead and pull forward 3 front wires. I'm going to have them running parallel together, and they're not going to be perfect at the bottom, but I'm going to go ahead and begin wrapping around the 3 wires to create my bail. I'll also grab my chain nose pliers and compress the wire a little bit just so that it's flush and flat against the square wire. Just making sure that my wires are still running parallel as I'm wrapping around the wire. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue wrapping until I reach about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to take the remaining 3 wires and pull 2 wires to the right and 1 to the left. And now that I've wrapped the wire as far as I'd like, I'm going to go ahead and take my flush cutters and trim that excess and tuck in the burr. From there, I'm going to begin shaping the bail by using my thumb as a guide to create a curve, and then begin wrapping it over the back like so. From there, I'm going to go ahead and put my stone inside the frame, making sure that it fits nice and snug. From there, I'm going to go ahead and secure the back of it by using my chain nose pliers, adding some extra pressure from my thumb there to create the bend. And then do the same on the other side, separating that wire, using my chain nose pliers, make sure my stone doesn't fall out, and then securing the back with my pliers. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the front. I'm going to adjust the wrap at the bottom very quickly, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a slight little prong at the front of the stone, just like so. But I just want to do it a little bit because I don't want to cover up the stone too much. Now once I've secured the stone, I'm going to begin working on the swirls, and I'm going to bend the bottom wire first, creating it and swooping it over the top of the bail. And then I'm going to follow that wire over the top with the other wire, and just having them run along the side of the pendant like so. And then I'm going to follow with the opposite side wire. And I'm also going to create a little loop over the top of the stone, just using my thumb. You can use your round nose pliers if you'd like to at this point, but sometimes just working with the fingers works well for me. And now I'm going to create another loop on the top that's going to mirror the bottom loop, just using my fingers and adding a little bit of swirl. And like I said, you can definitely use your round nose pliers or some kind of mandrel. And I'll just use my chain nose pliers to adjust the size of my swirl, as well as the placement of the wire. Now I'm going to begin wrapping the wires around the back side of the pendant. Just be sure to hold the front swirls with your thumb as you're bending them back so they don't get dislocated. And then I'm going to go ahead and tuck that wire in like so. And just continue wrapping wires around the back side of the pendant, overlapping the bail portion. Just remember to hold the front pieces with your thumb as you're wrapping them around the side of the pendant. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim these pieces with my flush cutters. Bring the other one up, trim it as well. Go ahead and tuck in those wires with my chain nose pliers. And then trimming that last wire. Once wires have been tucked in, you can go ahead and take the necessary adjustments, so adjusting the swirls, adjusting the loops, until you get them kind of where you want them. From there, take the furthest left wire and begin wrapping it up and over the swirls on top of the pendant. And you're going to want to go in between the loops, like so, and then creating a little bit of a curve with your thumb as you go. Now that you've created the curve, go ahead and trim off some of the excess, and from here we're going to grab our round nose pliers and begin creating a swirl over the top of the pendant. Once you've created the swirl, you're going to want to tuck that in a little bit so that way it doesn't get snagged on clothes and pieces like that. From there, you can also adjust the size of the swirl, but just make sure for sure that that's tucked in nicely so that way it doesn't get stuck on anything. From there, go ahead and take the 2 remaining wires and trim them off. You can also use them as accents if you'd like, but I'm just going to go ahead and trim these off. And there you have it. And you can use just about any shaped stone for this particular project, and even some of the extra wires to create more swirls and loops like some of these other pieces. And I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay up to date on the latest videos. Have a great one!